Well, we've been speaking a great deal about Britannia. Let's get the management. Britannia has posted a good performance in the third quarter. Some of it, of course, was in line with expectations. The highlight was the volume growth, 13% compared to expectations of 9 to 11%. Varun Berry, Managing Director, joins us now. Good morning, Varun. Thank you very much for joining us. Well, you posted double-digit volume growth. How much of this would you attribute to just the favorable base, and therefore, can you sustain double-digit volume growth?
First things first, I think there was a base effect because, if you think about it, the month of November last year, there was demonetization. So there was a base effect, but you've got to remember that we still grew in that quarter. We were one of the very few companies that grew in that demonetization quarter. We grew by about 6%. So it's not like we are coming out of a very, very low base. Yes, it was lower than usual, but we did, so that did give us a little bit of a benefit. But I think clearly it seems that the volume growths only happen when there is a category which is coming back to its own. And for the last 5 years, we've seen muted low single digit kind of growth for the category. We still don't have the category growth numbers, but I would think that the category growth should be back close to at least a 9-10% kind of a growth.
So therefore, will this double-digit volume growth sustain?
Well, your guess is as good as mine, but I would think that certainly there is going to be a better category growth as we go forward.
Okay.
Varun, good morning. So what was the input cost inflation this quarter, and what are you working with for the future?
So last quarter was really low, so it was almost zero. The inflation last quarter was almost zero. I do think that there will be some inflation as we get into the next financial year. My estimate would be anywhere from 3 to 3.5%, unless there is a spike on some of the commodities because of the minimum support price, which gets increased. But I don't think that will happen because obviously the government has two things to handle. One is obviously the farmer's income, but the other thing is obviously inflation as well. So both go hand in hand. I would estimate inflation to be, our commodity inflation to be about 3.5% for next year.
Okay. So can you give us an outlook on what happens with margins? Do they look like they'll improve from here? Because you've also increased your thrust on premium products, right, with your new launches?
We are hoping. The hope is always that margins should improve as we go forward. There are lots of variables out there, but if you look at our performance in the last 5 years, we've been consistent quarter on quarter, and we hope to keep it that way.
And how is the growth in the Hindi belt states where you are not traditionally strong?
Yeah, so that I would say is a delight because UP was one state where the growth was slightly muted. While we were growing faster than the market, but they were not up to my expectations. And this is a quarter where we've really ramped up our UP growths to almost close to 20%, and that's a very large state. So I feel very good about it. The growths in other states have continued. In fact, Rajasthan continues to be top of the charts with over 25% kind of growth. MP is okay, mid-teens kind of growth, and Gujarat continues close to about 20% growth. So it's moving in the right direction. All of those states are moving in the right direction. The only difference, which is a positive difference, is UP, which has ramped up pretty well.
Okay, I want to talk about some of your new products, especially, the joint venture you signed with Chipita of Greece to produce and sell ready-to-eat croissants in India. When do you see the tailwinds of some of these new launches kick in? What's the kind of timeline we're looking at?
This year, the coming financial year, is going to be a very, very busy year for us. We've got almost about 50 new products coming in. You know, they almost start from the word go. In fact, they'll start from this month itself. So one, we have to make sure that we execute properly. The big ones, as you said, the Chipita product is going to be launched in October. So hopefully, we've already started to put up the line in Ranjangaon near Pune. We are hoping that October will be a full-fledged launch. So that is going to be a new category launch, which we are very excited about. The dairy project, we've started to collect milk, and we've, you know, we are doing the experimentation that's required. But dairy is a long gestation period. You know, once we start to put up our plant and we start to look at new technologies, etc., it's going to be some time before we are in the market. So I would say not the coming financial year, but you know, the next financial year is when the dairy products are going to be in the market. But I feel very excited about all that we have in the pipeline, and I do think that in the next couple of years we'll be able to change the face of the company.
I don't know what croissants will do to your numbers, but I am awaiting them, Varun. Okay, you're spending on advertising?
Yeah, so last quarter was a lot more than what we usually spend. Previous to that, the first 2 quarters of the year, because of the GST implementation, etc., you know, there were lots of constraints. So we'd underpegged our spends, and we then brought it back with, you know, the quarter which was looking good in terms of overall demand, etc. And that's given us the desired results in terms of volume growth. So last quarter, if you look at it, we were almost 40% more than the previous year's same quarter. So we will continue to spend. We will make sure that, you know, especially the new product launches are supported with, you know, the right kind of media and the right vehicle of media as well.
Okay, all the best. Looks like a very exciting launch pipeline for you guys. 50 new products by March 2020. So that's the word coming in from Britannia. Thanks for that. Take a short break. We'll analyze all these numbers with Mr. S.P. Tulsian of sptulsian.com in just moments from now.